You can watch cartoons on this, but you can't have it with the sound, okay?
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, you GuMPers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria, Munson here. Yes, another fantastic day. How you doing there? Welcome to the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Lovely day yesterday with Mrs. M. I'm going to play a little video, I think, of our wonderful day out yesterday. Discovered a new beach. Thank you very much to Rugby Colin. We were over his way. Again, my ring. Can we pop in? As you suggested we might, Colin? Absolutely. Lovely to see you and Liz yesterday. And I've not been over to that side of the Foz, well, the Alpedosh Lagoon, opposite side of the water to Foz do Aurélio. Very nice up there. And what a fantastic beach that is. I'm a little bit, well, what's the word? Minded to keep that beach to myself. I usually spill the beans, don't I, on what... On the lovely finds and treasures that I find in Portugal. But I was thinking to myself, I want to keep this beach to myself. If somebody guesses correctly, I'll let you know where it is. So I think I might play that video in just a moment while Mrs. M is getting ready, and will be joining us in just a moment. She can tell you herself what a fabulous day she had yesterday, even if I say so myself. How are you this morning? Do let me know. Let's see who's in already as we conclude the final week of live streaming here on the Good Morning Portugal show for this year. So this is the pre-penultimate show of the year, the pre-penultimate live stream. We'll be releasing a few videos between now and the new year, and a couple of surprises, probably more in the new year. Nothing to worry about. But expansion and new possibilities to be getting our heads around for the new year. And between now and then, we will be releasing videos, but we won't be live streaming after Friday, where on Friday we're joined by Uncle Frank, of course. It's his residency on Friday, and we'll be joined by the wonderful Emma Belter Williamson will be joining us and singing live. And I don't know if you remember when she was here last time, she was saying she's not that keen on singing Christmas songs. Not that she's not very able to do so. I just think she prefers, some of the good old rocking popular music, kids. But the Christmas thing wasn't exactly her cup of tea. We were getting the feeling. However, she dusted off her songbook and found some Christmas goodies in there, and it will be delighted to sing some Christmas songs for us on Friday. So a sing-along morning. Check out those GuMPers rocking around a Christmas tree. That'll be Friday to conclude this year's live streaming with Emma Belter Williamson. Looking forward to that. And tomorrow we'll have Maria Joao will be back with us, and other surprises as yet to be discovered, frankly, between now and Friday. So, and today, of course, we are celebrating the solstice, winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, longest night, whichever way you look at it. It's astrological, it's astronomical, it's a pagan high point in the diary, of course, and it's real, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about the real sensual phenomenon of our experience as human beings, given the position of the sun and and planet Earth and ourselves, of course. And the question I'm asking in the ticker tape there is: will you be dancing naked around some ancient stones? If not, why not? picture, and then I've put pictures and videos, please. I don't mean those sorts of pictures specifically, so that might be best if you don't send pictures of yourself dancing naked around ancient stones in Portugal to 913-590-303. But I would like to think of myself as an increasingly unjudgmental person. If it pleases you to do so, then why not? And if you're clearing them for public or for general publication, do let me know in the message. That could be interesting, couldn't it? And we do, as we found out quite by coincidence earlier on this week, we found out that Portugal does have some incredible ancient standing stones, the cromlech, right? Which is our feature picture on the promotional slide for the show this morning. That's the Almeida cromlech. No dancing naked for me, says T-Duck. I want to stay out of jail for 2023. Well, fair enough. That's probably quite a good call. It's important not probably to do that in Rocio Square or Praça do Comércio in Lisbon, because people won't get the context with that, especially, will they? You need to go to an approved ancient site, I would have thought, for that to be validated and appropriate. Thank you, T-Duck, for being here this morning with your wonderful contributions. Happy Solstice, GuMPers. You're first in with that this morning at 8 o'clock. It has been difficult for people to find the show, and that's for all sorts of different reasons, but I think I'll fix that this morning. It would appear we have the shortest day of the year. Finally, sounds like T-Duck is ready for a longer day. Who doesn't like a longer day first thing in the morning? Well, if you do, tomorrow's your morning, isn't it? And increasingly so. It's been a while, you also say, T-Duck. Would you like to live? If you'd like to live stream today, I'm up for that. At the meetup, we will have our last meetup of the year as well in San Martinho de Porto. Deep thoughts to come from you then, and dad jokes, of course. Larry Wilde. Don't know who Larry Wilde is. We will find out what that American actor, comedian, motivational speaker, university instructor, and publisher said. And we also have James with us this morning, Coach Turner. With his God Squad tip of the day, James with a Carl Sagan quote. He loves his Carls, does James? And let's go straight to the cue this, because this sounds awesome on this special day of planetary alignment. A still more glorious dawn awaits. Not a sunrise, but a galaxy rise. Who doesn't like a galaxy rise first thing in the morning? A morning filled with 400 billion suns. Get your sunglasses ready for that. The rising of the Milky Way. Carl Sagan, A Glorious Dawn, on his Symphony of Science, which we have shared with you on this very screen, on this very program. Mrs. M, are you ready to join us now? Everything going well in the household in Casa Munson this morning?
Yes, all is good. All is well. Although...
Hold on. Enjoy your applause. Ooh, yes. Luxuriate and soak it up.
Although I'm a little bit croaky today and I've been sneezing lots. Am I sounding a bit husky?
You can talk to me like that, but you can't sneeze on me like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have been
a bit.
I have I've been up since 6 working, like helping clients, and
have you?
Apologizing for how I sound.
Oh,
it sounds like I'm trying to come on to them because I've got that sort of like deep and husky voice this morning.
Some people, they should pay extra for that, quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yes, OnlyFans premium astrology. I think we all know someone.
It's like my, if there was such a thing as a porn voice, this might be it.
Okay. I'm tempted to leave that there. I think we all know someone that can help us with that. Let's see what Coach Turner means by that in just a moment. And Deagle, sorry, Deagle, I didn't respond to you properly about your huge sweepstake win. Please don't.
I wondered why you were going
send pics.
Oh no, don't make me laugh because I might cough and.
It's okay. It's okay. Yes, the Minister of Home Affairs, please send my apologies for not responding sooner to her message. We'll get that sorted. Paul Richards, good morning to you. Greetings from a sunny Alvor here in the warm Algarve. See what he did there?
Yeah.
He just won't let it lie, will he?
Well, do you know what? It's very warm here.
I mean, Paul.
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, so we found a fantastic beach.
Oh, my goodness. And I was just wearing a summer dress on it.
You were, weren't you?
I did have a
cardigan. So was I.
But
I thought I would change for the video that I'm about to play you. Bon Dia Alegria arrived again. OnlyFans premium service. Me in a summer dress on the beach. Bon Dia Alegria arrived Stockholm on Saturday. Is this Anna? And will not see the sun until Christmas Eve. Inhabitants in the north of Sweden live in darkness. How do they do it?
Do you know, I was about to, when you were going to ask me about the solstice, I was going to mention one of my clients lives right inside the Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
and hasn't seen sunshine, I think, since the end of November.
Why is
I
there a
remember being really touched. I brought that up for you. I
Oh,
thought you might
thank you.
want it.
Right.
I remember being really kind of overwhelmed with emotion. Must have been January earlier this year, when she posted a photo and she said, "This is the first time I've seen sunshine for however many weeks it was," and I
Oh,
just
my
saw
word.
this picture, you know, of like the frost in her back garden, and
Not a
and-
euphemism.
no, no, I hope not. And yeah, I kind of burst into tears, like the thought of living without light.
I'm feeling that.
The thought of living without light.
Yes.
And then obviously in the summer, you know, they have like many weeks where it's just sunshine.
Unbearable.
Well, no, I mean, I think as like nighttime will come over, it just becomes like a dull sunshine.
Yeah. It was João Oliveira who said this about human ingenuity. You know, we are amazing, aren't we? How we've managed to live there. You know, that we can give ourselves a pat on the back for that. Sometimes our ingenuity clearly gets the better of us.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just move this.
Well, I mean,
around the right way.
she's actually living where she was born. She's been there her whole life.
Right, and just sent you a message to say this is the first time I've seen sunshine for weeks.
No, she put it on Facebook,
Incredible,
and I
though,
saw
right?
it, and then all of a sudden, you know, my understanding of her, like, kind of, I don't know if it expanded, but I just felt like I had a different
Now
context
it all
for
makes
her.
sense. The
Well, I just
person,
had
yes,
I had a
yes.
different context for her, and interestingly, or is to me anyway, birth charts, like, you know, sorry, using a bit of astrology,
Here we go.
but
Like this
with
one.
which one? I can't see, but
What, you can't see it?
no, is that the chart for today?
Yes.
So yeah, this chart, you know, you'll see like 12 spokes, and it looks pretty even, those spokes. And most birth charts have these spokes, like these even sections of a birth chart. Now, those people that are born in the extreme latitudes, they're, you know, the evenness of their picture is really, really, well, it's just not even at all. And you know, what you see is like lots of focus in a few areas of the life and not so much in the others.
Yeah.
And I think that must relate a lot to the character of people
Of
who
course.
live in continuous darkness or continuous brightness.
Yes.
You know, it does have obviously a big effect on personality.
Okay.
So they do actually, you know, people that are born in these areas are kind of programmed differently.
Without question, right?
Yeah.
And that is, you know, that's the okay thing about, you know, talking about people's characteristics based on where they come from, right? We've got to be creatures of where our senses were born.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like,
Oh, can't we celebrate that?
Well, absolutely. And the mum, you know, who carries a child through weeks and weeks of darkness, like babies can sense light.
Yeah.
You know, from, I can't remember how many weeks it is, but they can sense the light and the darkness and the patterns.
Of course.
So I'm just looking at you and not at the screen.
It's okay.
And so that must have that must make a difference to you know, the development of a fetus.
Of course.
You know, like learning for some of the pregnancy. I wonder if the ones who are in the womb through the continuous darkness have a different personality to the ones who are in the womb through the weeks and weeks of brightness. I mean,
incredible.
I need to find out.
There we go. We never quite know where this is going to go every morning, do we? We went there this morning. So Deagle, Paul, Stephen. Good morning, Stephen. Peter, Owen, Victoria, and Jess. I was listening to Spain Speaks Stuart. The way he does it is we've got Jess coming in from America there. We've got OLP coming in from Oregon there. You're listening to Spain Speaks with me, Stuart, in Spain, where lots of things are happening at the moment. We've got Hendog coming in from Devon there. And we've got Gene coming in from New Jersey as well. Have you listened to him? That's what he sounds like.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Well, I've seen when you've been.
I'm hoping to meet him actually in this Christmas break. He might be over this way. Love his show, Spain Speaks. If you ever want to find out what's going on in Spain, check out Stuart at Spain Speaks on YouTube. We'll come back to all those lovely people we've mentioned, including Jess and Hendog, who's off to Dartmoor today to find the stone circle. So possibly some naked dancing in Dartmoor. And some men may feel more comfortable dancing in the summer solstice than the winter solstice, of course, especially in Devon.
It must tighten things up a bit down there.
Well done. How was the birthday, Louisa? Let's address that question.
It was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
I had such a lovely time.
Yeah.
We did so much. ate out twice, didn't we?
Yes.
which is a bit of a new one. And we had lots of animal contact yesterday, didn't we? So we went to this lovely little,
Yes.
went to Infusions, which is not far from Obidos, and there's a lovely little grass bank just to the side of it, and our kids, you know, they get bored, you know, and we're sort of eating and enjoying ourselves, and the kids are just like have a bite and then they're off. So they were playing on this grassy bank, and there's this lovely little kitten that came, and it was so nice to see how natural our kids were with them. And then we
I mentioned that we went to Colin and Liz's as well.
Yes, we went to Colin and Lizzie's, and
You're now a dog person, aren't
well,
you?
I'm not a dog person at all, not by a long shot, but I like these
She
dogs.
hastens to add.
No, but these dogs, I really like these dogs. They're really, really nice.
Yes, they're beautiful, weren't they?
Yeah, and they were pretty much like on me, weren't they?
They were very friendly.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I was giving them healing.
You
giving
were,
them
weren't you? They
Reiki.
were loving a bit of the old Reiki. They were.
And at
yeah.
one point, I had like 2 dogs and a cat, and,
Yes.
and so that was really, I was quite sort of taken by that. It's been a
Yes.
long time since I've had that gorgeous experience with animals. I mean, apart from holding chickens, it's not quite the same.
It's not quite the
I
same,
do
is
like
it?
stroking chickens; they are so soft. But
Yes.
yeah,
Just
and then,
remembering my chicken stroking days.
and
Stroke, don't choke.
What? And then we found this amazing
Don't know
beach.
why, sorry. Apologies.
You're very naughty. this
Sorry.
morning.
Yes, I forgot I was broadcasting for a moment. I just thought we were just having a chat with each other.
That's the kind of like sort of unboundaried way you talk during the day. So anyway, we found this amazing beach, and it felt like it was just for us,
Yeah.
because it pretty much was. There were
Yes.
a couple of people doing Instagram posts up the top of the cliff.
Oh yeah.
You
You can always tell those people, can't you?
What, like us, like taking photos of ourselves?
Taking pictures of what?
We were taking
Ourselves,
pictures
right?
of ourselves as well.
Yes. Well, the Insta Babes ones are posing a little bit more than we tend to.
Yeah,
I think
and
we're
they
quite
tend to
natural.
have selfie sticks as well.
They have selfie sticks. They pucker up and they tend to lift one heel off the floor. I'd never do that when I'm live streaming.
Yeah, they kind of
Both heels on the
shift
ground
their body a
from
little
the
bit.
school of broadcasting in which I was brought up. That's right. I never
Yeah.
lifted my heel up
Yeah.
with a little twist of the Hello Sailor style. I don't do that. Stuart, people love
People know
Stuart here.
Stuart, yeah.
Stuart is a really nice fella. I've chatted to him a few times. Love Stuart, says Victoria as well. These are the folks who like a bit of Spain as well. So I have asked. I don't know how much to say about this, but I want to talk. I want to work with Stuart and maybe do an Iberian phone in with him or something like that. I think we could have some fun working together.
Yeah, I
the
think that's
pair
going to
of
be
us.
great fun.
So I'll
Sure, it's on the
I'll
cards.
keep you posted with that. I mean, obviously, I can't speak on his behalf, and he may be cross that I've even mentioned the idea now publicly.
I'm sure he won't be.
Well, I don't know. You just never know. I don't know him very well, and he might think that's a bit of a liberty. But anyway, we shall see.
There's some amazing comments coming in.
There are. Are you telling me to get a move on, Barney? Chance?
No. I was going to just say a little bit more about that beach thing, because it felt like everything
Can I
was
play
very...
the video?
Okay,
If I play
like
the
the
video-
colours felt really angelic.
It was.
And there was
extraordinary.
almost like 2 angel wings of clouds on the
You'll
beach.
get a
It's
sense of that
beautiful.
here. I had my Obi-Wan hood on some of the time, didn't I? Looking a little bit like Alec Guinness.
Yeah, you do.
I think yesterday. Okay, it's not a bad role model to grow into. Here it is. There's not a Christmas tree in sight here, but it just seemed like the perfect moment and setting to wish you a very happy Christmas. Boas festas from Portugal. Look, it's celestial and heavenly here. Isn't that incredible? What a landscape. What an incredible landscape. I wish you a very prosperous and happy new year. All the best to you. At home alone, yeah.
Does sound
Joe
like one of
Pesci
those-
to come crashing through into the studio any minute, followed by a wrecking ball or something.
Yeah.
I
But
don't know,
do you know what?
come
It didn't quite come across as angelic and kind of ethereal as it did
There were
yesterday.
even angel wings in the sky, weren't there, at one
You
point?
couldn't even see it there, but and there were lots of pinks and soft aquas and kind of
Yes.
softy gold colours.
Soft
I
aqua.
think, you know, the way we perceive things with our eyes are very different to how
Cameras do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the sea seems so much louder. Isn't it interesting how we perceive it? So when I was there yesterday, what I noticed was like I could feel the waves, you know, like that there was no spray, but you could feel like almost like
the
a gust of
volume.
wind. You could
Yes,
feel the
yes,
volume
like a
of
bass
it.
bin.
I could feel it more than I could hear it.
Yes.
But I felt very muted because there were these cliffs to either side of us, and we were in this lovely little cove. And I said to Carl, God, it's like Hope Cove in Devon.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's
Beautiful.
right. Yeah, or Tercera, that little protected bay there. Yeah.
Really, really beautiful.
Really nice. Really nice.
Yes, that was nice.
Place.
And then we went back to our favourite restaurant.
To complete the journey.
Yeah.
5 years ago, this was a restaurant in San Martino de Porto. We just had a little bit of tapas to finish the evening off with Anna and Ricardo.
Yeah.
And shout out to them because they were very kind to us when we first came here to Portugal
they were amazing,
5 years ago.
They?
We were staying in a hotel, as some of you know, stranded in San Martino de Porto. Can you imagine? We were stranded the living hell of being stranded on the Silver Coast. And one evening I went out to get some food, and she didn't really do takeaway and still doesn't. But that evening she let me just take the crockery back to the hotel. And I'll just bring it back in the morning. And
she didn't know you from Adam.
Didn't know me from Adam. They've lasted the course, which is not an easy thing to do in catering, is it? Let's face it. And they've opened another new little concession opposite in the little precinct where they, girls 18 XYZ are here. Find love on the new dating site. Anyone who needs to find new love this morning, I'll leave that on there for a moment. And they've opened this new thing where they've got herbs, not those sort of herbs you lot. They've got the herbs, they've got the teas, they've got incense. Did she say a few crystals? I said, is it local stuff? She said, no, quite the opposite. It's things from all around the world, isn't it? Herbs and spices in the Portuguese tradition.
But really, really good quality.
Yes.
Really, really lovely.
Ooh,
so
that's if we're going to divide the crowd like an alcoholic Marmite. The quest for eggnog starts today. Do you like an eggnog?
Not sure. Probably.
What? Because it's got booze in it.
Have
you had an eggnog?
Yeah.
An advocaat? Do you like
I used to love
advocaat.
Yeah, I used to.
Okay.
My grandmother.
Sort of vibe, isn't it?
My grandmother used to do it.
Did you just block XYZ?
Yeah.
Wow, you're swift on that.
Yeah, I don't want her flaunting her bits around.
It won't be her, will it?
No,
it'll be some like fat hairy guy in a basement in Wisconsin or something, trying to make a living. Yes, pretending to be a voluptuous woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And non-alcoholic eggnog. Oh, okay. Well, it shouldn't be too. You would. I would
prefer it with the alcohol.
Quite frankly, yes.
I mean, what is it? Just like what?
It's yolks, isn't it? I think.
Is it just yolks and a bit of nutmeg or something?
Nothing wrong with that. Don't knock it. That's the basis of many Portuguese puddings, isn't it?
Well,
cinnamon rather than nutmeg. Okay, I've got to work sequentially, as you know, through the comments here. Did you just groan?
I did, yeah, I did groan.
Well, you want to get on with the solstice celebrations?
No, because I wanted to follow up on these lovely little threads here, I may.
Go on.
Is that okay?
Yes.
So Jean has
Did you say Jean?
I did actually.
You went with a Jean.
Yeah. That's all my time in France. Yeah. Even after leaving the womb, the days and seasons of your first few years shape your development.
It's where your senses are born. What are we? We are our senses in part, aren't we? And where those senses are born influences us. And that's why it's nice to go back to the old place sometimes, isn't it? Not that we ever do. But there will come a time when I tread on England's green and pleasant land and know it as if I were a little baby again, I suspect, and breathe it in.
Okay.
That sounds makes me sound like King Arthur, just returning. I'll take my swords. Sir, you please indulge your senses, but could you put your sword away? Sorry.
Get one of those wooden ones from Obidos. Okay, I love this from Nubianet. I watched a Swedish YouTuber named Cecilia Blomdahl, who lives in the Arctic Circle. They prefer the Arctic nighttime rather than the sun for 3 months. She shows how beautiful it is, stars and aurora.
Yes, there are a few people here who watch Swedish YouTubers, I suspect. And that sounds like somebody who I should reach out to as well.
Well, Victoria is also saying, I checked out Cecilia's channel, beautiful and bewitching.
Well, I need to get in touch with Cecilia as well. Hands across Europe.
Yes.
Absolutely. Just like when Rab Nesbitt was shouting it out to his pal. Hands across Europe, mate. You like that? You don't know what I'm talking about.
Do you know what?
Okay.
I know the sort of character reference of Rabsi Nesbitt, but I never ever watched it, and it would be completely lost on all our. It would be completely lost on all our American viewers, probably.
No. It's cultural education. If you look up Rab Nesbitt and the scene where he is shouting across, whilst he and his family, the Glaswegians on holiday in Spain. Now that's a great start to any sketch. Let's face it. And Rab is just he goes into he's the everyman. He's like Scotland's
Everyman.
He is Scotland's Zay Pavino.
Okay, yeah,
He
yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
And
But he's not exactly every man. You might be offending every man.
No, everyone's like that in Scotland.
What, in string
All of them.
vest?
String vest with and CB boy, all of that sort of stuff. You think you're too good to speak to me, Paul? All that. They all speak
Okay.
like that in Scotland, and they're all
They
just
all
like
do.
that. Yeah, a little bit edgy, little bit aggressive, like a drink. I mean, just look at the Prime Minister.
May I just
there.
apologise on behalf of GMP
Of our family.
if anyone's been offended by that?
You should have been.
Ramsay Nesbitt's just such a yuck like character.
You're misunderstanding
Yeah.
him. I think. I don't think you get the nuances.
No, I like this comment coming in from
Right.
OLP saying, "Do you Brits really drink mead in the winter?
Definitely.
If so, what is it?" It's interesting because
It's a top astrologer drink, isn't it?
yeah, it is. Well, for many reasons,
We
but
we were bought some for our wedding.
we
Weren't we
were bought mead from a couple of different people. We ended up with
Really?
7 bottles of
They
it on our
must
wedding.
think we're hippies.
Yeah, they must think we're absolute hippies.
Yes.
But in terms of, I was just looking up, solstice stuff, and like solstice celebrations. The people that I know that celebrate solstice tend to be more of our hippie friends, like our homeopath friends and things like that, who work in tune with the cycles of nature. And fair play, we try and do
We're
that
not
as well.
hippies at all, are we?
No,
Our
but
chiropractic friends, our cranio osteopath friends, our Reiki friends. We're not hippies. It's just a coincidence, isn't it, that all those friends love celebrating the solstice?
But like one of the great things I think about solstice is being as natural as possible. And there was reference to drinking homemade brews rather than stuff that you buy.
Yes.
So like the meads or the homebrewed ciders or things like that. And of course, we haven't really been organised to make anything. And
not this year.
Well, and my butcher's a bit awful. So
did you shorten kombucha to butcher?
Yeah.
Is that what people call it then? Butcher,
some people call it boo, my boo.
It's more of a biatcher at the moment than a butcher, isn't
Yeah,
it?
definitely.
Unfortunately.
But the solstice actually, it comes into its culmination at 9:48 tonight.
Of course it does.
And I'm gonna cook a nice long slow casserole for us today. So when we come back, we can smell it. And then finally eat it and give thanks for the fact that it's the return to light, isn't it? Dark to light.
Of course it is. And that's why, in many ways, it's important that we celebrate it here.
Exactly.
Because
to me, I think it feels more important, more poignant to celebrate the idea of the lightness coming back than Christmas. I mean,
no disrespect to Christians or
no,
anyone,
definitely not.
Because we'll be celebrating Christmas as well. Do not worry about that. We'll take any chance we get to celebrate and make merry. But the solstice is a real thing, isn't it? Given that we've become so civilized, and I use the term loosely, we are less in touch with our senses, aren't we? And the alignments of planets and the effect of the sun, because we've got electric lights and we've got insulation and we've got all sorts of things.
And also, like, we've got daylight savings and things like that. These sort of humanistic things to.
Wow. Oh, that's right.
And, they take us out of our natural cycles of light.
Yes. Yeah, and given that we leave quite a lot of our arrangements to people in marketing departments around the world, the modern person's schedule is what New Year, where you're supposed to make resolutions and feel bad about yourself, thereby becoming a consumer and buying things to make yourself feel better. What comes after New Year's resolutions for your
New Year's
your Oh yeah, we got Blue Monday, haven't we? Blue Monday, the worst day of the year for everybody. So. Because you're too broke.
It's the worst day for HR.
These are the combinations
human resources departments.
So if you leave HR and marketing together, this is what they come up with, don't they? And then what? So have we got anything until Halloween? Do they leave us alone, the marketing people, until Halloween?
No, there's Easter.
Oh,
there's Mother's Day, Father's Day,
all of those.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, of course. There must be something every month, right? All of these things that undermine you and give you a chance to buy a Hallmark card.
Yeah.
Right. And then and so constantly being undermined or slowly undermined by all these kind of faux festivals and marketing led events, and then hidden on the 21st of December, like today. Yeah. Do you remember? I mean, Earth, Wind & Fire wrote a song about this,
No, September.
Oh, sorry, yes, September. But here we are with a real thing.
Yeah.
And as T-Duck said, the shortest day, the light is returning. And it's no wonder that the light of the world, the baby Jesus coming to the earth, it all comes together, doesn't it, around this time? And it was very wise of the early Christians to bring it together with this. Why are you wincing?
I'm not entirely sure about any of those facts.
No, nor am
I'm
I.
not trying
Do
to.
you
Not trying to
honestly
upset.
think I'm ever sure about any fact I
Yeah, it's
utter?
true. But
Yes.
I'm not trying to upset or offend anyone. But I don't think.
I think it's a matter of public record that the early Christians thought, okay, we want the pagans to come along on this journey. I'm very positive about this. I don't think it was a bad thing. I don't think we can put the early Christians necessarily in the same light as we might put people in marketing.
Well, like there's loads of proposed dates as to when Jesus arrived.
Of course,
if he did, at all, or whether he's a story that's been created that has been given life to, because I think if there's anything that we all start to believe, it becomes real in its own right. It becomes a phenomenon.
Oh yes.
And
Santa Claus.
And all we can know is what's in our heart, really. What we actually feel.
But if you're trying to organize big groups of people and bend them to your way of thinking, you would use these tactics, just in the same way that celebrating my birthday in the summer, I might do that at the same time as the Sant'Antonio festival in San Martino de Porto.
Yeah,
the more the merrier.
Yeah.
So if you've got a load of naked,
is that what you're saying happened? They were like, more the merrier. Let's just have 21st of December to 25th of December.
Did you know I've been watching the history of Europe? Did you know I've been watching about the history of Europe?
Yes, I am aware of that.
In the early days of Christianity, we're talking about very similar. What would we call it? Reaching out to people, not coercion especially, but influencing people to understand and believe certain things, and form and norm them into ways of being parts of a movement.
Wow, just sounds like parenthood, but en masse.
Well, there's nothing new, is it? It is just nothing new in terms of how humans organize themselves and want to share in things and be better than other people. It's just the same old story. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that my understanding of this time of year, which is very real, the winter solstice, has been brought together with other celebrations, probably not just the Christians. And now I am showing my ignorance because I don't know what other celebrations they might be. But why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you base new, more conceptual ideas on some of the more natural ones? That it plots the progress of our human development as well, doesn't it? I think.
Well, a lot of people use it to set intentions, because it is the official start of winter.
Yes. Yes.
It's the changing of a season.
Yes.
Like from like you said, it was a planetary alignment. It's actually not a planetary alignment.
A solar alignment. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's just like the sun has got as far on its journey down south as it can.
Planetary position, then, rather than alignment.
Yeah. And then it just starts its way back the other way, and it's continuously back and forth.
I am not
and
saying
then the equinoxes are just exactly when it's at the midpoint. So equinoxes is when everyone has the equal length day and night.
Okay.
If you're on the equator. And then so like right as of today, it's at 23 degrees 30 south.
Yes.
In the Tropic of Capricorn. That's where the sun is. It's right over the Tropic of Capricorn.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I'm not saying any of these things to be right or wrong. I'm just saying these things because I'm fascinated by them, and I hope you are too, and that we can have a fun, an open discussion about them as we seem to be having. Sounds like Carl is speaking from a bad experience on a dating site. That time when I was on Girls XYZ dancing naked, perhaps on the 20th. It was a bad 21st of December back in the day. Speaking of humans' relationship with sound, I started watching a Portuguese documentary on Netflix. On Netflix titles SOA, what does that mean? Very provocative, captivating, and interesting. It's our first and last sense, isn't it?
Yeah.
It talk about being in the womb. We hear,
and
apparently it's the last thing to go.
Yeah.
You're leaving the room, and that's why it's best, as we've talked about with the wonderful Mama Bear McGowan, for it to be quiet. If you are leaving this reality, it's good to be in a quiet place and not to have all the relatives clucking around you, making a load of noise. It's our last sense to experience, I believe, as we leave this this existence, this reality, this so-called reality,
Mhm.
suggesting that in order for God to say "Let there be light," that sound had to have existed first. Yes. Did I miss the beginning of that? Oh, and it's not Pete. I thought that was Pete. It's James. That is so cool, isn't it? If God said, "Let there be light," there would have had to have been sound first. Love it. And so the answer to that, which you asked 20 minutes ago, do Brits really drink mead in the winter? Not many of them do they? It is a drink that's still available. It's based on honey, isn't it?
Oh, I'm sure some of the people we know do. We
I'm
just,
sure, yeah, without
it's
a
just
doubt.
not something you can easily buy. You know, you don't see it
Yes.
in your local offie,
Yes.
in your off license.
Have I been stereotyping this morning? Not
Rabsy
me.
Nesbitt.
Oh, okay. Or the hippies, or both.
No, that came in during the Rabsy
it?
Nesbitt era of this show.
No, it's not stereotyping. It's the truth. How am I? I'm doubling down. I'm doubling down here.
Don't do it. You know, when
Don't.
someone
Well, back
doubles
out.
down, you know that they're on the wrong path.
Okay, smash that like button. OLP mead is honey wine beer, and it's beautifully documented in who was it? When Russell Crowe played Robin Hood, and the accent was a bit. That was very interesting, wasn't it? Russell Crowe's accent in Robin Hood, but I think his Friar Tuck is making mead in there. And uses bees as a kind of warfare during that movie as well. I don't want to spoil it for you though. Last San Martino de Porto meetup of the year to date. See you there, and bring mutton and mead. I wonder if Nelson can stretch to that.
That'd be cool, wouldn't
Last meetup, and it's not raining. Yay, you will be there. It's just Monty Python have got their tendrils into so many things. That must be a Monty Python sketch, mustn't it, with mutton and mead?
I don't know.
They won't have left that.
I don't recall there being one.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean there wasn't.
Yeah.
In their canon of comedy. No one drinks mead in the UK, really. Coach Turner, you don't know enough hippies. It's honey-based booze and used to be drunk at banquets because the water wasn't safe. Is that why we drink alcohol? Because the water wasn't safe?
Do you know what? I had...
and is that why you still do that?
When I was just before my 21st birthday, I was working in the ski resort in Italy, and it had been closed down for many months, and the food that they were serving was out of date, you know. So we got to see what was in the storerooms, you know, that the kitchen porters would use to cook everything on, and we just saw that everything was really, really rank. It was a horrible experience, I have to say. And the old plates that people had been eating on came back into the kitchen, and then the kitchen porter.
Is this on TripAdvisor?
No, it's from Don. I mean, it's 20 plus years ago. Okay. And they would take off some of the cuts of meat that hadn't been touched, and then they'd put it back out onto someone else's. They'd reheat it.
No.
Yeah. And put it onto another plate and send it out. I mean, this is tourism for you, tourism 101. And it was horrible. And we, as the workers, we got the arse end of that. What was even worse of that. But before we got that food, they, you know, if it came back again, the meat taken off was given to their brother, the Italian brother down the road who had a pizzeria, and then some of it was put aside to the dogs, and then all of us people working in the hotel got, we had awful stuff.
Well, not waste not want not,
and you're probably wondering where this is going, but
yes, I am.
But they had quite an extensive alcohol store. And as naughty 20-year-olds, we just we had access to it, and so we were helping ourselves to, you know, strong spirits, so that we were killing off any bugs in our system.
Medicinal purposes.
For medicinal purposes, it was a bit naughty. And what was terrible was I made the mistake, and it serves me right completely, but I made the mistake of having a cream-based liqueur.
Ooh.
And then I ended up giving myself food poisoning on my
that's
21st birthday.
Oh, really? Maybe that's why
Italy.
You're not fond of the eggnog then, those sort of creamy.
Yeah, maybe.
There is that pastel de nata-based liqueur. Have you tried that?
No.
There is one. There's a liqueur that is like drinking liquid pastel de nata. It's got a number. It's called something like liqueur 33 or something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like my kind of thing.
No, No, I can't imagine.
But yeah, I mean, to sort of like double down on what Ian was saying, I think you can use alcohol, can't you, to kill off any bacteria?
Well, OLP thinks he's joking, but he's
No,
not.
no, he's
not.
right.
People did
Yeah.
drink alcohol instead of water, I think, because it was safer, strangely enough.
Yeah.
And talking of alcohol stores, as you were, Pete has a kitchen full of homemade brewed spirits.
Oh, wow. That
Limoncello,
sounds great.
Aguardente, ginger, Jalapeña, and wines that we must admit, it is lovely to know that they're all made naturally.
It's
Isn't that
great when you can
fantastic?
do that, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Well done, you guys.
You see, Ian, that's humorous. Sometimes he's meaning to be, but I don't think on that occasion he was OLP.
No, I think he's actually telling the truth.
Yep. And he says UK is full of historic silliness. I mean, it is. I mean, you could say that the UK is historic silliness.
Yeah.
That's how we, again, stereotypes, though, not like me to go to do something like that. Where can I get bagels in the Algarve? Trying to replicate my tradition of Jewish deli brunch on Christmas morning. I imagine that's possible. A bit of a specialist request, but it normally is Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we can help with that, where you might be able to get a bagel or a bagel. And let bagels be bygones on for your Christmas morning there. It'd be nice to go out on Saturday, wouldn't it, to buy those? It's interesting. Christmas Eve on Saturday, Christmas Day on Sunday. That it's falling quite nicely.
Do they ever sell them in Lidl's or Aldi?
Not the same though, is it? They
Well,
do.
no, but
That
I mean,
might be your fallback.
Yeah.
The one that comes.
I mean, they
wrapped
sell flipping everything, really, don't they?
in.
Kind
I
of.
think
Apart from
that
Christmas
might be.
crackers. We're trying to find Christmas crackers.
I've got a feeling you could buy a sort of condomized bagel in Aldi, wrapped in a
Condomized? What do you mean?
wrapped in plastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In there, it looks like a massive condom. When you, I don't want to put you off eating your bagels on Christmas morning. I'll move on. I'm a born again pagan. T-Duck. It's all this naked dancing that might have attracted him to to being part of that flock. The entire world that is definitely stereotyping. Whoever applied something to the entire world.
I think that was you.
And also, I have to say, when it comes to the entire world, this is only the winter solstice in our part of the world, of course.
Yeah. It's the summer solstice, obviously in the southern hemisphere.
You say obviously, but it could be easy
flip it the other way.
Yeah, I will after the show. A lot of mead is pretty horrid, says Pete.
Owen has come in and said pingo dose.
For bagels.
Yeah.
See, there you go. You only have to ask. A lot of mead talk this morning. Fantastic.
And Slug is saying saw it at Intermarché. Now, is that mead or I'm sure it's bagels rather than
or
mead?
Both. Religion is all. Oh, come on. That's a stereotype. Religion is all marketing. I get your point, Coach Turner. But let's not, especially at this time of year, there's a lot of comfort and goodness for people within religion as well, isn't there? Let's not forget that.
Do you know what? I really like the cut of Jean's jib. It's really good.
What's going on?
And she's
bagel quality?
No, still talking about the old alcohol.
Really?
But no, you've changed. That wasn't the one. I was just putting.
There's a lot of jib cutting going on.
Here, this one.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Not surprisingly, even animals know that fermenting fallen fruits taste better. Deer get drunk on apples that ferment naturally.
Have you not seen the Disney film of the elephants eating elephant? I mean, talk about Cockney rhyming slang. Elephants drunk. There's a beautiful clip of elephants eating fermented fruit, all wobbling about, crashing into each other. It's fantastic. I remember it from being a child, even before I knew what it was like to be drunk myself. All right, Penny's here as well. Look, Penny with a winter solstice skit. Excellent. From your own Instagram. Cool. Now, please, folks, go look at Penny's work. We love to support an independent craftsperson, artist, basically creator of beautiful things, Penny Albertella Jewelry. And I suspect you'll see them there at Penny Albertella Jewelry on Instagram. Go take a look after the show, bookmark it, and look at Penny's wonderful work and enjoy her winter solstice skit. Thank you for being here, Penny.
I just need to set up Minnie for her music lesson.
Okay.
I'll be back soon.
I imagine there'll be some jingle bells as part of that music lesson this morning.
Yeah, it's Christmas themed today.
All right. So I'm not going to talk about the solstice till you come back.
No. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Let's just I'll go and do some deep thoughts.
Okay.
While you're setting all of that up. Talking to the kids, how is my buddy Sully? I missed that kid. He asked about you as well. Where's Uncle Frank? And hey, you too. Morning, Frank. See you on Friday for the last live stream of the year. That's going to be a lot of fun. We've got Emma singing with us as well. Morning, Jess. Too. I'm going to make my way back through the comments and see who's in, and maybe do a few more in the style of Spain Speaks Stuart. And first of all, although I will do a deep thought, and we will have. I stopped believing in Santa Claus when I was 6. Mother took me to see him in a department store, and he asked for my autograph. Shirley Temple. Wow. Shirley Temple Black was an American actress, singer, a dancer, and diplomat, ultimately, who was Hollywood's #1 box office draw as a child actress from 1934 to 1938. And that would have affected her deeply, I'm sure. Incredible. Imagine that, having Santa Claus asking you for your autograph. Deep thought too. Never worry about the size of your Christmas tree. In the eyes of children, they are all 30 feet tall. And it behoves us, does it not, to see Christmas through the eyes of a child? I was going to say at this time of year, when else are you going to see Christmas? But of course, that is worth remembering, isn't it? The children, the view of children, how innocent, hopefully, and untainted and naive in the best possible way, and positive children are at this time of year, and how we can feel like that ourselves as well if we so tune in. Larry Wilde, American actor, comedian, motivational speaker, university instructor, and publisher. Thank you very much for that. Portuguese saying of the day: Feliz Natal com muito amor. It's sold. So lots of love and good health to you at Christmas time. Feliz Natal, boas festas. That's what we need to be saying, those of us who want to practice our Portuguese. Ugo Nuno this morning then. Portugal has its own martial art. I nearly read that as a marital art. I suspect Portugal does have marital arts as well. Let's ask. We did start a conversation about dating and relationships in Portugal. Last time, Maria João was with us, and she'll be with us again tomorrow. So perhaps we can ask her about the marital arts tomorrow. But no, Portugal has martial arts called the Jogo do Pão, meaning game of the stick. I think we've all played that. Maybe not the Portuguese version. So can you tell us more? Oh, yes, you can. Based on more knightly medieval techniques. Are those Tamartians involved in this, the Knights Templar? It originated in the mountains. Oh, not in Tamar and the Templars, although the Templars may have been involved even in the north. It originated in the mountains of the north and was originally used by farmers as a form of self-defense, and is still practiced to this day. Yeah, those wonderful red, gold, and green, fluffy. I can't remember the name of those particular. Oh, blast! Help me out with this, Pete. Maybe those fantastic masked creatures. It begins with P, doesn't it? And they've got sticks, but don't they smack girls on the bottom with those sticks as a sign of affection? Not that I'm recommending that, but yes, there seems to be quite a few uses of the stick up there in the north of central and north of Portugal. Maybe we could come back. Maybe we shouldn't come back to that. Bom dia, GuMPer from James earlier on. Feliz Cata todos. Feliz Cata. Como estão? And thank you for that wonderful Carl Sagan quote this morning. God's Call tip of the day then. I was at an athletics event last night, and we had a presentation on rehab. Wow. Interestingly, it included both physical and mental rehabilitation and recommended meditation. I think we all know someone that can help us with that. Yeah, well, I've definitely published loads of meditation videos over the years. And there are a number of people in the community, aren't there, who could help with the mental side of rehabilitation in our community, a growing number. That sounds amazing. I hope you had a good evening last night with that, Coach Turner. Rehab, of course, yes, a lot of it is, it would be mental, wouldn't it, in terms of recovering and coming back to peak performance. Bon dia, Carl and GuMPers then from a mild enough 5 degrees Belfast. Let's get to Belfast and find out what's going on there with the industrial action and whether those nurses are getting, well, and other workers are getting their demands met. Still dark here, shortest daylight hours. Winter solstice will soon be barbecues again. There you go. Today in England and Wales, there is an ambulance staff strike. Health is your wealth. Pity the government doesn't see it that way. Yeah, agreed. And greetings from the sunny Alvor then, from Paul and Pete and Stephen. Stephen saying bon dia. Pete saying bon dia to you, Steve. Hope you have a great festive season. And a bon dia alegria from Owen too. And that lovely message from Stockholm. So that's called Polar Night, apparently, where the Swedish have not seen any lights. Well, I'm sure they've seen some light, but they've not seen any sunshine for the whole of December. Everything all right there, Mrs. M? With the would I? Do you need my cup? Because neither of us have washed up for a few days, I think. There you go. You might want to rinse that one out. Too busy partying here. Hola, bon dia, kids, from a very foggy Portimao this morning. That's not helping, is it, when you're in the search for bagels? Too blooming cold to do one of Gary's naturist dances. Hoping to see Garvo before Christmas. And I do feel bad every time I see that, Pete. I do feel bad for making up that story about Garvo dancing naked in the wilds of central Portugal. I don't think it ever happened, but it's now a sort of myth and legend of central Portugal, isn't it? No naked dancing for me yet. T-Duck wants to stay out of jail. Jess is here. Hola, all. How you doing, Jess? And great news, says Pete to T-Duck, that the days are getting longer, especially for our solar. What's it like, Pete? You've got a bit of a pea super there in central Portugal, so that's not good for your solar rig either, I suspect. So when are you releasing videos now about your solar journey on Solar Life Portugal, Pete? Let us know if there's anything we can share with people. Oh, Andy Klein, very poignant episode 19. Actually, I'm going to play that as a little bit of a contrast this morning. Lovely video 19 from Andy and Lola, who are making their way to Portugal, and our expat journey with Andy, the professor of documentary making. This is a very poignant one, and I would like to share it with you, and we'll talk some more about the winter solstice when Mrs. M returns, and include all your erudite and amusing comments, such as they are, especially so, it would appear, in the comments this morning. Thank you very much indeed. And yes, the video I played earlier on of us on the beach, that was my advent calendar entry for yesterday, the 20th. We still have the 21, 22, 23, 24. We've got 4 more entries. If you are meaning to send something in to include in the advent calendar, which you can see at goodmorningportugal.com, our website, where lots of other changes have taken place. Do please go and have a look at the website, and let me know what you think of it, what we should include more of or less of. Oh, I must write a news item about Brits completing their Brexit, post-Brexit registration here in Portugal. Tig James has been on social media talking about that, but I will be sharing more about that myself, actually. And I have my CEF appointment in the Christmas break as well, so I'll be able to report firsthand from my CEF appointment. Talking of CEF, talking of moving to Portugal, being in Portugal, here's Andy Klein then with the continued journey, our expat journey, and where Andy is at right now. This is very moving, or I certainly found it so before.
Explosions like a heartbeat. Yeah, my mind's keen rushes of emotion. Now let's do it again. There's sweetness and adventure. Without a venture, TV's got your mind stuck on good reality.
There is not much left in this apartment. It's pretty bare now. We're down to what we're taking on the plane and what's going to my family's home in Delaware. I called this episode Keep On Keeping On because I was expecting we were facing that embassy workers strike. It didn't happen. They were back at the negotiating table, which is good. It's good for me. It's also good for the workers because, I'm a labor liberal, I guess. And so I'm happy if it works out well for them. I'm also happy if it works out well for me. No telling when we'll hear. So the Keep On Keeping On is also the drive east, the wait.
Our soul is warm. Life's much more.
It's Wednesday evening, and I'm about to submit my grades, which is my last act as a professor at Missouri State University. So this is my last walk to campus. I'm passing by the Foster Recreation Center on my way to office. I'm going to do a little cleaning, hand in my keys, and walk off campus for the last time as an employee. I'm sort of official until the end of January, but there's nothing for me to do now that the semester's over. And that's it. But it's been a heck of a ride here, and it's getting to be a heck of a ride. Getting ready to go to Portugal. So, yeah.
If we live it up, life is all on schedule, but dead's forever. I send my condolences to the side of the drive. Some say I'm living in the moment, I say motion, I ain't got no potion, but we can touch the sky. We are young, 'cause my soul is warm. Life's much more. So much more. We are young.
Isn't that beautiful? Sorry, I was a bit distracted there because I was trying to find the name of the music as well. And I'm looking in the notes. If you go to Andy Klein, ANDYCLINE, I can't find the name of that tune, but I will do, and I'll get it on the website or put it somewhere. But that's a great song that is that leads the way with that video. And was that a poignant moment, that empty office? Do you remember seeing your home or your office like that for the last time on your journey to Portugal? Very moving. Thank you, Andy. Do subscribe to Andy's channel. At Andy Klein. What is it? YouTube have got handles now, haven't they? I don't know if Andy's taken advantage of that, but certainly ANDYCLINE will take you over to his continued journey there. And yeah, wonderful videos that he's making, and I'm looking forward to your videos, your documentary footage. I don't know if you'll keep doing that when you've arrived, Andy. I certainly hope you will do. Very nice. Excellent, good stuff. The music credit was the very last visual in the video, so thank you very much for that, James. I was looking for it, so I didn't see that. Brilliant, good to know. And you'll find that over on YouTube, and that is episode 19 of Andy's Our Expat Journey. Very, very good. Okay, I have done this clean out the desk malarkey. Well, Andrew's office was nicer than mine, but you should have seen it before he tidied it up. It was unbelievable. It would look like a very creative place, is the word I shall use. The Gerard-shaped box, the intriguingly named Gerard-shaped box, who says this morning, only dance naked around ancient stoners, not ancient stones. You know who you are, you ancient stoners here. Felice Natal, everyone. Thank you, Gerard. More from you, please. Anyone else who's not spoken this year, who watches, who lurks, do please say hi. You can see what a friendly bunch we are here, so do say hi. And more from you, please, Gerard, if it's anything like that this morning. Comments about mutton and mead, and save the stroke, don't choke line for Friday. Okay, more like that on Friday, then when Uncle Frank is with us. On Friday alongside Emma Belter Williamson. We're going to be singing Christmas songs on Friday. I've got a lovely article to share with you. This is from this is called the Pagan Sites of Portugal, and it's from druidry.org, Pagan Sites of Portugal, written by Ricardo Campos, when Mrs. M rejoins to talk more about the winter solstice. And we've got the stone circle of Almendras, which we've talked about before, of course. I think only this week, coincidentally, the sanctuary of Moguera, the menhir of Meada, the dolmen of St. Denis, the menhir of Buloa, and the Sitnia of Britairos, as well as the Anta Grande do Zambojero and the Fountain of the Idol. Not only that and those, but also the menhir of Rocha dos Namorados. So, and also how to learn about druidry and how to join the order, should you be so inspired. Excuse me by what we're talking about this morning. the winter solstice. So we'll come back to those as well. Let's see what's going on. More talk about alcohol and certainly dad jokes to come in the chat as well. And where did we get to? Nubianet, yeah, you were recommending Cecilia Blondal. Must look her up. I want to connect to European YouTubers all over Europe, funnily enough, for 2023. So if you've got other favorites, like Stuart as Spain Speaks, like Cecilia Blomdahl in Sweden, I'd love to meet these folks actually, and maybe bring them over this way, or create separate live streams where we all chat with each other. Let's focus, says Doug, on the gradual end of the long dark nights. I always find by the first week in January, the nights are getting notably shorter. Isn't that a lovely note there from Doug? And yeah, a really good focus to have there, Dougie. How are you doing in Welsh Wales, where you drink mead for sure? And more mention of that to come. A bagel quality is directly related to the water. A guy moved from the New York City area to Western Virginia. Thought he would clean up selling New York bagels, but they didn't come out as good. Different mineral content. And that was titled SOA. That's the Sounder documentary on Netflix there. Then the crocus peek their heads out of the snow, and we are on to spring. It's a circle of life. So that means podcast came before YouTube. Who knew? They so did. I would like to think I was an early adopter of the genre. I was working on a project doing podcasts. What were we doing? 2005, 6 or 7. Didn't quite work out, as a lot of startups don't. But anyway, a key date in the Northern Hemisphere is the 15th of February, when the Arctic forsakes its 24 hours of darkness and the spring thaw begins. There you go. That's a very sensory matter as well, isn't it, in the Northern Hemisphere, when the Arctic forsakes its 24 hours of darkness. Mead, then, is med, or in Welsh, and medwi, and means drunk. Isn't that interesting that the Welsh word for drunk is based on mead? So strong in the Celtic tradition. So I suspect there will be a honey-based booze here in Portugal as well, with that Celtic coast that we share with Wales, of course. The changing amount of daylight day to day must be more dramatic in the far north. Yeah, more measurable and noticeable for sure. I'm sure you're right there, Gene. Another fun documentary is How Beer Saved the World, safe water consumption. Thank you for that. And speaking of safe water consumption, yes, alcohol is right behind fire as to things discovered by humans early on. It would be, wouldn't it? Can you imagine being the first human being to eat that slightly ripe smelling, or very ripe smelling apple, or whatever it was? Incredible. And I'm sure it was in a sort of 100th monkey syndrome style, where there were outbreaks of it all over the place. I wonder, who knows how it really happened, but certainly alcohol seems to have caught on. We can say that for sure, can't we? There's literally a Portuguese liquor, here we go, called merda, seriously, on the label, liquid merda. I wonder if it tastes like that as well. Pingados then for bagels for you, Victoria. And you saw that liquid merda at Liquido. That sounds terrible. But the Portuguese got a great sense of humor with these things. So Intermarché, if you really want to try it. Not surprising, really. Even animals know that fermenting fallen fruits taste better. Better or different? Deer get drunk on apples that ferment naturally, as we said before. And or Gene said before. And Bon the Alegria from Barry. How you doing, Barry? I think the Icelanders know a thing or two about surviving long, dark winters, don't they? And alcohol as well. They seem to go together, don't they? I was told that during previous disease outbreaks in Portugal, families would start the day with a shot of aguardente. The kids do. Yep. Send them off to school with some of that aguardente central heating. Penny creates wonderful things, says Owen. If it were not for CTT and customs, I'd have recycled my wedding ring, remodeled to the tree of life, waiting patiently, Penny. There. So yes, Penny is extremely gifted with making beautiful things. Check out that Instagram channel. I was recently introduced to the new Portuguese greeting Bom Natal. So we've got Boas Festas, Feliz Natal and Bom Natal, and Prospero Ano Novo as well. You might want to chuck in there while you're talking to people about Christmas and the New Year. Pepe, what does that mean? I wonder there. He's gone now, I suspect. He's making his way to the San Martino de Porto meetup today. Carl, how is your little grandbaby doing? First Christmas. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. Don't think I'm going to see her this Christmas, but certainly, well, I will on Zoom. And I saw her a couple of days ago, OLP. She is beautiful, a real heart melter. She is. Have a great day, everyone. Yeah, there we go. T-Duck's on his way over to this part of the country. And I'm feeling very spiritual this morning. That's not one of the 7 dwarves. I've got a happy sneezy. I don't remember anyone or you feeling spiritual, but ask for permission first. Obviously, Lord Gilchrist, who can feel the solstice. So, how is? I don't know. I'm reluctant to ask you to say more, and certainly not to send pictures of you feeling the solstice this morning. Bon dia from Andy. Bye, Andy's here, everybody. Bon dia, for sure. Great show. Got to run. Getting a lift from the daughter. Jabalas. His customary sign off, and hopefully a bit of cycling action and some of his breathless videos from central Portugal and the coast to follow. Cheers, Andy. Thank you for everything you do for the show and for your wonderful contributions, videos, one of which has already been immortalized in the Advent calendar. And I suspect there may be another one because of those wonderful pictures you sent me from Agada the other day as well. They were beautiful. And your son's certainly got a photographic gift. Bright sunshine in the capital. A perfect morning to be celebrating the winter solstice in Lisboa this morning. Good winter morning from our friend João F as well. Good winter morning, everybody. And Simon, 3Ps is here as well. And what's this, Lord Gilchrist? I have done. Oh, yeah, you've cleaned out your desk. You said that before. And yeah, weird flashback of the emptiness before the new life begins in Portugal. Yeah, not just me then. Not just me seeing those empty rooms and people really knowing it's time to go. It's very poignant. I'm feeling very spiritual this morning. I can almost feel the soul. Is he winding us up here? I wonder. I think there's more to follow on this. Man Cave on Friday, of course, under the leadership. He keeps a light hand on the tiller on a Friday night. Good morning, Victoria. So happy to see you, says João F. Here's your morning rose as usual. You Portuguese romantic, João F. And Medwi Christmas then from Sarah Nom de Plume. Good morning to you. And you've lived in the Arctic Circle. Really? How was it? Tell us more. Hello, mate, says João F. It seems my computer refused to respond the first time I greeted you, but you're far too important for me to not do it properly. Ew, says Pete. And the prof had a real ale in a hipster pickup point in Lisbon that was truly repugnant. What? Oh, Prof Eusebio. Chicken shed washdown. It's not going very well, Pete, is it? With the search for real ale and craft brews, it would appear for you. And that's not the first time I've heard you complaining about the beer in Portugal. Pluminha, a flower for you as well. Feliz inicio de inverno. So is it officially winter now then as well? Tell me more, folks, about how you understand winter, because, you know, it's felt like winter since November. This is the winter solstice. How's that all worked out? We have distilled most of our mead, managed to produce about a gallon of rocket fuel now. Yes! Wow. And the beer was called Murder and tasted like it as well by the sound of it. It was not a new greeting. It was a new to me greeting. I just learned it. Okay, Bon Natal there. Of course. I really resent paying good money for beer. Thank you, Mrs. M. The creamy coffee has arrived. I really resent paying good money for beer that has been kept so badly that it tastes more like shed-wee. Top notes of shed-wee. I've not heard of that description. Shed-wee, yes, exactly. Which also sounds like a Welsh phrase, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like a Welsh.
Diolch yn fawr, shed-wee. It probably is. There is a brew called shed-wee. Is it? It would appear so, unless those man cavers are just mucking about as they do. Lovely to hear from you as always, Ralph. When are we finally going to meet? Pete is asking you. So Mrs. M is back now. Dairy shed, shed wheat, and shed floor wash, weren't they? Those gentlemen not at all impressed by what they've been drinking in the capital. And Mrs. M, they found a Benfica football legend and took him out for dinner. The man cave was a lovely story. So you're rejoining us, are you, for the last 20 minutes of the show?
Yeah, and disappearing right before 10 because.
What you got? You got a language lesson, or did you miss that?
No. The music lesson's been postponed. It's
Has it?
Well, no, it's been postponed. You know,
Did you
to
bring
10
the-
o'clock start.
Okay, I do love it that we've got some actual jingle bells in the house. I think.
Well,
Minnie-
we don't. That's the thing.
did I not bring them back from my wild night out?
I don't know what you've done with them, but I was just setting
Have
up.
I
for
tidied
Minnie's-
up again?
Yes.
Oh, she's mad about that. You can see that.
Do you know what?
everybody,
Every
can't
time, like,
you? Uh-oh.
we.
Uh-oh.
I will try and manage things on a sort of like day-to-day basis, and yeah, sometimes things get a bit funky. By the way, when you said and said, "Oh, we haven't washed up for a few days,"
Yeah.
I was up at 7 o'clock this morning washing up, and I
Oh,
wash up
sorry.
every day. It's just sometimes if
You don't-
I'm the
you-
only one doing it,
Yeah.
there are bits that get left over.
You don't want people thinking we're slovenly. Thank you for putting that right.
No, we are a family with like 3 small children, 2
Yeah.
home businesses, and
Yeah.
you know.
Partridge in a pear tree.
But anyway,
Yes,
Carl has these moments where all of a sudden he just gets like
I
really
do
kind
have
of
my moments.
kind of like, I don't know, is it repressed anger? And so he takes it out on everything
Household goods.
that belongs to other people but not him, and he tidies it away as if it's to blame for everything. And he always seems to take it out on the kids' toys. And you know that there's a reason
sure I'm not
why
alone in
there's a
this.
reason why there's a box of musical instruments in that back room, and that reason is not to pee you off. It's so that when Minnie does her music lesson, she's got a whole ton of percussion stuff.
Well, so much for the
Now it's
season
being-
of goodwill and
I'm
good
guessing-
cheer. I'm
I'm
just getting a
guessing, did you-
bollocking live on air.
Did you just like put it back into? Did you put it into the dark recesses of the garage somewhere for me
No.
to?
I will have tidied it up in my own special way.
There's no toys. Like you did a smash and grab of the toys. I got some Lego
I
back.
thought you were going to say there's a reason why the children's toys are strewn over every square inch of the floor in this house. But let's not. Should we not wash our dirty linen in public here? Don't forget we're still.
But do you know
live
what? The
streaming.
musical instruments weren't. That's the thing. They
What?
weren't. But they've now disappeared.
Actually, they're
And
always.
I have got to find where they are before
No,
Minnie's music
I will
lesson.
do that. Who doesn't love treading on Lego or a spiky brass instrument in the morning? Who doesn't like a good tromboning first thing in the morning? Talking of spiky brasses, talking about spiky wives.
Yeah, I'm a
You're
spiky wife.
spiky wife, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's
Well, no,
why.
it's just like
Got
I
you mad
never.
up.
When you do your massive tidy ups,
Well,
it's
someone's
sometimes
got to.
it doesn't always, like, I don't always understand like what he's moved and where. I just see that all of a sudden it looks like a nuclear
I
event
just
has
tidy up
happened,
differently. To
and
other
things
people.
are like he strips everything back, and I think, okay,
What she doesn't tell
I
you.
will
What he
find
doesn't tell
I
you.
will find something in due course, but never in the place where we have this agreed sort of like understanding this is where it belongs.
Look, we advertised the
And
winter
it takes-
solstice here. All we're getting here
Well, this is
we're
like
getting
dark
wind-
to light. I want to find out
we're just
where have
getting-
you
I'm just
hidden all
getting
the
winter.
toys.
I'm just getting top notes of cold, freezing winter here in my heart. Pagan sites of Portugal from druidry.org.
Okay, I'm just gonna relax. You know.
Yeah, you should. Come
Yeah,
on, it's
well-
Christmas. Chill. Munson marriage counselling. I would imagine if you clean a dirty trombone with lots of double entendres.
Do you know,
Everything can be made
I
better
just
with
want
a
to
double
find the
entendre.
flipping sleigh bells. That's all she needs for.
I'll find the sleigh bells. I'll
Okay.
just be able to go straight to them.
Yeah, in a place where nobody else knows.
The
where they live.
last time I used the sleigh bells was when I was playing along to Fleetwood Mac. You Make Loving Fun, I think. I was when we lost Stevie Nicks. Sorry.
What, like?
We didn't lose Stevie Nicks. Oh dear. There are times on a live stream when you wish you could rewind, and that is so one of them. I do beg your pardon. Oh my word.
What was
And I
the-
can't even remember the Fleetwood Mac singing that. Oh, Christine McVie. What am I
Yeah.
talking about? Stevie Nicks is alive and well.
Okay.
Okay.
So will I find the sleigh bells in like one of your personal?
Next to the Fleetwood Mac CDs. No, I was listening on Spotify. Oh, this has gone from bad to worse now. I'm so sorry, Stevie Nicks. Do you want to talk about the winter solstice? Because
Yeah,
it's
go
what
on
we
then.
advertised.
Yeah,
Do you-
go on then.
Over to you. I'm gonna have a rest.
Well, what do you
drink my
want to
coffee.
know? What do people want to know?
What is this funny picture? These hieroglyphics here that I'm going to put on the screen now.
Which ones?
What's that? Can you see it?
No.
Why can't you see it? Can you see the show or not?
Yeah, I can see the show, but it's with a delay.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, 10, 9,
There you go.
8. There you go. All right.
It's like counting in thunder, isn't it?
Yes. So the show is actually what 3 miles away from you at the moment. Sometimes feels like it. A bit like the bloody children's instruments. Okay. All right. Do I leave that on there? Are you going to
I mean,
decipher
this is what the solstice chart looks like for today. And
Who knew?
yeah, who knew? And what you'll see right in the middle is like a circle and like a center point. And then around the outside, you've got these symbols for all the planets. And so it shows the relative position of the planets across the ecliptic, the zodiac, the imaginary zodiac in the sky. But anyway, you guys don't need to know where all these planets are. But what I will do is kind of I just wanted to give you an idea of like what a birth chart looks like. So it's essentially a snapshot of where everything is. And so all solstices are not the same. They're not all born equal. And so this represents the snapshot of the energy for the next season. You can take it off now if you like, because it's
as the actress said to the bishop. Okay,
because I've actually made some notes. Right. But this next season, as it's starting, the energy for it, like the astrological energy, is actually pretty positive. I think it's really up there with new starts. With, if you remember, I mentioned Jupiter going into Aries yesterday.
Yeah.
So there's this like fiery kind of go. It's like the green light is back on, which feels really nice.
Nice cup of coffee, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That's great. The moon in Sagittarius is in opposition to Mars retrograde in Gemini, and that's really an indication that our emotions as we start this. I mean, this is not like an individual forecast, like for you or whoever in the chat room. It's a kind of collective forecast for how we're feeling. And so this is marking the start of a new season where we're feeling a lot more philosophical, a lot more slightly risque, a lot less controlled, a lot less manufactured. We're wanting to be a lot freer and a lot more truthful and a lot more trusting. How does Aquarius fare in solstice? I'll talk about that in a sec.
Asking for a friend. He's asking for a friend.
I'm guessing you're an Aquarius.
Well, he says he feels energized. He can actually feel the solstice. Now, I don't know whether he's winding us up here.
He might be.
You never know, do you? But he says he feels energized despite his man flu. Well, you got brother to brother. I sympathize with that. But I am too. I'm hoping for a bit of a solstice rise.
According, like from this chart, the Aquarians are going into a bit of a work phase. They're going into a bit of a
heads down.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite an intense time for Aquarians because you've had Saturn going through your house, which is pretty tough. Saturn's a bit of a hard taskmaster, and it's been a time of really getting up close and personal with, how everything is organized, like getting rid of things that aren't relevant anymore and letting them go. In early spring for Aquarians, so I'm not actually talking about the solstice, but from like February, March time, things start changing in terms of, it feels like the intense scrutiny is off, and it feels like you can almost build on the new form that has been coming up about your personality. So like what you've learned about yourself in the last couple of years is being shaped, and you're putting it out there in terms of work and realizing how more resourceful. Yeah, just like a little update about sort of Aquarians going into spring.
Well, he did
year.
ask, didn't he?
But anyway,
and look at this. You've got to be careful what you write on the screen. I'm sure this is a well-meaning comment. But
I have no idea.
Catherine Connon, the skeptical healer, says, "Go away, Louisa." Now, what she's saying there, and the kiss at the end is the clue. She is sympathizing with you and my tidying up techniques. She's
really?
Thinking, it's like, if he's going to be like that, you need to just go away and enjoy yourself.
Well, that would be nice. I wasn't sure how to read that.
Kate, this isn't helping. I need her here. But there are other fellas who maybe take a similar approach to me. Simon, I get shooed off when I try to help with housework, so I do it at night. There's a tactic.
Well, you know what? I would really love it if we had agreed spaces. But anyway, let's go back to the solstice.
Well, people are loving our soap opera.
Of
I
course
need
they
to
are.
tune in daily for the next instalment, says Nom de Plume.
It's very boring, really.
Well, apparently not. People seem to be enjoying it, but I would like to know how Cancerians are doing with this winter solstice, because I would say, despite a sense of energy that I'm feeling, like Lord Gilchrist, I'm also feeling quite oppressed and undermined, especially in the realm of housekeeping.
No, I absolutely know you're taking the mickey.
I'm not.
You so are. Anyway, back to this solstice, like the kind of lineup for this next season, I think is about discovery, and uncovery, and recovery as well. Because it's adventurous, it's fly by the seat of your pants, things are speeding up. Yes, we're fascinated by facts and the nuts and bolts of things, but what's changing in this month, not in this month ahead, but in this next season, is we're starting to want more than just the facts. We're wanting to like delve a bit deeper. What I am also seeing is people are getting a bit more sort of playful in a practical way, and following through on their ideas. So like you might have an idea, like a sudden idea, and it's a little bit creative, a little bit wacky, a little bit woo-woo. And you're just thinking, what, actually, I would normally discount that, but actually I wonder what it would be like if I developed this or played around with it. So I see it as we're coming into a time of inventiveness where people can really be practical with their dreams.
Oh, grounding.
There's nothing more inspiring than that, really. And then there's this lovely grand trine between Pluto, Ceres, and the midheaven, and that's about letting go of who we were, and kind of developing, like really working with our new potential. I just think it's really good. One thing that I do see is a bit of a caution, is Jupiter and Neptune in the 7th house for this next season. Showing very much that we are in a space of really projecting onto each other.
These are collective messages.
Yeah,
right,
collective.
Okay. Yeah.
So take from it what you need, but like the projections that we're putting on each other are pretty out there.
No doubt.
And so, like, as a collective message, what I would say is just be, like when someone's got a different point of view, to kind of sit with it and say, oh, that's interesting.
Interesting point of view.
It's an interesting point of view.
We've been learning about this, haven't we? Our wonderful friends.
I wonder what makes them think that.
Can I share about
Sure,
access
absolutely.
consciousness? Because
Sure.
we have been getting so much value from these holy trinity of Gary Douglas, of Dane here, and Simone Molasses, who talks a bit like Stuart Speaks from Spain speaks. And they, one of their principles is, that's an interesting point of view. They're all about non-judgment, and I know this really pushes people's buttons. Every time I talk about non-judgment on Facebook, of course you've got to judge. Where would we be without judgment? That's ridiculous. But try it. I mean, if you can, I mean, yeah, of course humans are going to judge. Judge is going to judge. Haters going to hate. But if you detach yourself from the intensity of it, and coming back to what triggered me to say that.
What, my judgments of your tidying up style?
No, I was over that.
Okay.
I was over that. You've mentioned it again, and now I'm re-triggered. But just like, oh, that's an interesting point of view.
Yeah.
Let other people have their point of view.
Yeah, absolutely.
And more importantly, see when you're getting triggered that, oh, that's occurring in me. Well, it's an interesting point of view that I've got that interesting point of view.
Yeah.
You don't have to be attached to it. You don't have to work it. It can just like, oh, maybe it's not even my thought. Maybe it's just a habit that I picked up from my father.
Well, that is a really good question that we've been asking ourselves a lot. Like,
who does this belong to?
Who does this belong to? Where did that thought come from?
Yes. They are so good. I'm loving what they're doing, and we're going to be. Hopefully, we'll be having some learning about the bars treatment as well, aren't we?
Yeah, hopefully.
From somebody in Portugal, and get crack-a-lacking with that.
Yeah. So I mean, what I would, if just to like finish off on this solstice energy, is like if you're going to set yourself an intention today, if you're going to celebrate the exact moment of the solstice today, it's 9:48 p.m. That's UK Lisbon time.
Perfect.
Now, if you're in another time zone, I absolutely recommend that you go to timeanddate.com, because there's an international meeting planner, which is really, really good, and you can easily find out what your time difference is. But it's just it's a great moment just to sit down and think, okay, well, how do I want to be? Like there's a new season starting. This could be a new impetus for me. If you think of all the like dark to light analogies,
Yes.
you know, like you've brought yourself back in on yourself. Like lots of people are really cranky at this time of year. You've kind of come to the like dark night of the soul.
Onward
And
and
this
upward.
is the time for rebirth. This is the time for like a resurrection, which obviously is another analogy like linking to Easter, but I really think it is like the dawning of a new day. So
Well, and that reminds me completely of Terry Hall there, who we lost in the last few days. The specials, the dawning of a new. This is the dawning of a new era. Now, some of you nutty boys and
it's so
two-toners
funny
will
because
remember
like
that.
I think Pete was saying, oh yeah, it was Fun Boy 3, and that threw me yesterday when I took over your seat.
Oh, specials.
And I was thinking,
Fun Boy
hang
3,
on, who was
Colourfield.
it? Who was it?
Yeah, we lost Terry Hall.
Because I knew him in a different band. And actually I saw the specials in Bournemouth. It was really great.
Yeah. I had all the little badges.
In fact, I've been on their tour bus.
There was a shop.
That's another story.
Really? The tour bus of the specials?
Yeah, that's another
Was it
story.
special?
No.
What, have you got to go?
I've got to go and find the sleigh bells.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But before you go, then look on our website, and if you do this, if you do have a solstice moment, our guiding lights, and these have come from Access Consciousness as well. If you do sit down tonight, and what was it, 8:48, 9:48,
9:48,
9:48 in this time zone, you know, you might ask yourself, what's good? What's good about my life?
Yeah.
What am I grateful for? What's possible? Right now from this place as we go into more light, and there's more energy and there's more light available to work with.
Yeah.
And what more can I be or do? Well, how fantastic to go into the new year, because you could say that it's also the new year, couldn't you? You know, we're going into a new time. You don't have to wait till another arbitrary date like the 31st of December, do you?
No.
This could feel very much like a new start.
Well, every breath.
New year.
I mean, you know, every breath is a new start, isn't it? In its own right.
It is.
I know that's
every
bonkers.
moment.
Yeah,
every
single moment.
Every moment. But we can supercharge it with this sort of significance, can't we? Of the light returning to our lives. So I'm so glad we did that, Mrs. M. I'm sorry if you do have to go. I've got sleigh bells. Oh, but they're a long way from us. There is one thing you need to hear before you go.
What's that?
And that is Sarah Nom de Plume. Was it Sarah Nom de Plume who finished that World Cup broadcast we did by asking what a minge was? It was, wasn't it? And I don't know if we ever explained, and I can't. I don't want to. And now
it's
she
the
wants
ginger
to.
minge, wasn't it?
It was.
Because I referred to a story where somebody had yelled. I don't know how it got onto the subject.
Which you're naming and shaming them, aren't you now? That bad behavior of those.
Yeah, there was some naughty
motorists.
boys shouting out ginger minge when they saw me and a beautiful
fellow redhead.
A fellow redhead, a Canadian.
Yeah.
And she was so shocked because it's like Portuguese.
Yeah, I'm not putting that up, but thank you for explaining, Lord Gilchrist. Why are you? Don't. Lady Garden is a much nicer weapon.
Yes, Lady Garden.
But taking the mickey has nothing to do with that, is it? Taking the mickey is like taking the pee, which we can't say.
Yeah. Why did you mention minge right at the end of this show?
Because it was what finished that particular episode.
Oh, okay. Is that how it's
no. Sarah Nom de Plume is saying what is taking the mickey. It's another explanation.
Oh, okay.
They're not connected, are they?
Right.
Minge and Mickey are not connected.
No.
But you see, if you take an English course, you're not going to find things like minge or taking the mickey. I don't think they're very much idiomatic, colloquial things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking the mickey is when you're having a little laugh about something.
And the English
only
love to do that,
you're kind of poking fun. You're taking a mick.
You taking a mick?
Yeah, you're poking fun at somebody.
Yes, yeah.
And it's really passive aggressive.
It is, but the British are so good at that.
Yeah, and we don't actually seem to think there's anything wrong with it. But...
Do a taking the mickey course rather than an English course. You'll get much more value, I would say. And I think we might be starting one for the new year. Carl, be a man and just do the homework. Sorry, the housework.
I've really got to go.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Be a man and just do the housework. Own your domesticity.
You really do,
actually. I don't think I like the sound of that.
You do it. I just wish you wouldn't
do it in the way I do it.
Take everything that we use.
There you go. Pulling one's leg. See you later, Mrs. M. Nice job this morning. What? Say that again. I couldn't hear you over your applause.
Where are the sleigh bells that you
No
hid from
idea.
me?
No
Oh.
idea. But as you see me running around the house, it might be a clue if they're in my pocket. And then I'll invite you to remove them from my pocket. Not falling for that again. Similar to pulling one's leg. There you go. Taking the mickey. That's good. That's a good explanation, isn't it? So nom de plume, I think we've got that. Yeah, and it is like learning another language, definitely. With those sorts of idioms. What's this? Knocker's gonna knock. Judge is gonna judge. Knocker's gonna knock. Hooter's gonna hoot. I suppose you could add to that. Weird flashback. Yes. Of the emptiness before the new life begins in Portugal. That is one of the sweetest things anyone could say. I mean, the world being as it is nowadays, from João F to you there, Victoria. Darren, GMP VIP, Darren J is here, everybody. Morning, I've just booked a flight to Porto to check out the city. Well, if you come down this part of Portugal, make sure you come see us. GMP VIP Darren J, and by that I mean somebody who supports the show. Many ways to do that at goodmorningportugal.com if you'd like to do that. Yeah, if you felt we've supported you well and you would like to buy us a little drink or support the show, please do that on the homepage of goodmorningportugal.com. So yes, hopefully we'll see you in January. Jean, 1 year ago I was packing up to leave Tavira after my first trip to Portugal. Today I book my one way for January the 5th and finalize everything here. How about that? Symbolic on the solstice, totally coincidental, but that's pretty awesome. Great news. Darren J will need ideas for restaurants in Porto. Expats Portugal's forum. You'll also find a link to Expats Portugal on the Good Morning Portugal website. It's great to ask those sorts of questions over there on Expats Portugal in the forum. Hank and Connie, I'm sure, will be able to help you with that. Restaurant ideas in Porto. And sorry to see you go, Mrs. M. Merry Christmas. She'll be back tomorrow and on Friday. We will be partying. Dougie, a nom de plume could be another term for Brazilian, just saying. All right, that's triggered the man cavers to be their filthy selves, isn't it? Watering the garden. Oh, stop. Oh, come on. You need so little encouragement for things to break out of this kind. That is awesome, Gene. Yes, that's it. Thank you for raising the tone again, OLP. That is awesome, Gene. That is lovely to hear this morning. What a lovely coincidence that you'll be using the solstice energies with your life redesign. Isn't that fantastic? And Gillette, idea for a Christmas present, subliminally slipped in there. Talking of double entendres, slipping things in as we like to do, and who doesn't like to first thing in the morning? Look at that, fantastic. Joao F, loving it as well. If you put your heart in it, there's no turning back. Just briefly then, one more time, I do want to commend to you the pagan sites of Portugal, because it's one thing to think about these things and talk about them. You might want to go and feel the energies, just as Lord Gilchrist is doing this morning of the solstice. There are very fabulous places to do that here in Portugal, and I'll sign off with this today amid all the all the other kind of chat that's going on. Oh, Jimmy Chew's here. He's taken his opportunity to come into the studio as well. Morning, Jimmy. Let's just read this to you then. Not the whole thing, because it is quite a dense and almost academic article about the pagan sites of Portugal by Ricardo Campos, I do beg your pardon. There are many, many pagan monuments in Portugal that will appeal to the traveller in search of sacred sites. This short article introduces you to a very small number. That's the interesting thing here. Although there are quite a few listed here, it's just a very tiny selection, apparently. There are many, many pagan monuments in Portugal. And the article here is an invitation from Ricardo to visit these few among the hundreds of beautiful pre-Christian sites in his country. I hope someday you may come to visit them and open yourselves to their inspiration, perhaps a druid here on druidry.org. Portugal has perhaps the very oldest megaliths in Europe. Some of them are quite remarkable, and there is much evidence of varied pagan cults and places of worship. Some natives of the British Isles might be surprised by the similarity between many of the Portuguese dolmens and ones of their own countries. That is explained by the fact that there are close affinities between the megalithic period of Portugal and that of France and the British Isles. T.D. Kendrick, probably an academic in this arena, talked about a western province comprising Portugal, Spain, western and southern Western France, and Britain and Ireland that would have been a single cultural identity or entity throughout the Bronze Age. But there is more than megaliths when it comes to places of ancient worship here in Portugal. Obviously, I'll just pick a couple of my favorites for inclusion here, and I will put the the link to the site one more time in the chat. A few words about the old gods of Portugal. The stone ex-votos of the Roman age contain the names of many gods whose sphere of influence we can sometimes guess from their Celtic philological root. Thus, we know today about such gods as Bormanico, Ruenosesius, or the goddesses Treburuna and Atagina. Perhaps the greatest divinity of Lusitania, the name of the old province largely corresponding to the Portugal of today, was the god Endovelico, who was related to healing and the afterlife. Apparently, the worshippers spent the night inside his sanctuary, in which there was also an oracle, in order to have dream revelations. How about this? It is also believed that there might have existed a trinity, I beg your pardon, of which Endovelico was the main god. Runsus Celsius, the war god, his name seems to mean something like mystery god armed with a dart, and Aitagina, the fertility and agrarian goddess. Mrs. M is back. Have you come to join us again?
I also owe you an apology.
You owe me an apology.
Yeah.
What? It was there all the time.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
It was the janitor.
No. Well, not an apology as such, but I want to thank you as well.
Really?
Yeah, because when I went into the garage to find,
Oh,
sorry, I'm out of breath a bit,
Now what?
to find all the
Chains?
instruments,
Handcuffs?
I found the instruments for Millie, so she's all set up. But as I was closing the garage door,
Yes.
you've been cleaning it, haven't you? You've
The garage
cleaned all
door is sparkling.
It's
I
sparkling.
owned my domesticity in that department. Thank you.
Well, I mean,
for
that is the good thing about your approach. You just kind of blast things, don't you? And you blasted it beautifully.
It's very yangy, you could say.
It is very
Very
yangy.
yangy.
Yeah, you're very yangy.
Now, folks, I think you sensed that we were peaking to a climax. And
Yes, we were, weren't we?
They were all saying goodbye. We're still here. And let's go through a few of these greetings. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Yeah.
And what time is the meetup? 1 o'clock. Are you joining us? 1 till 3 today, and we will be doing a bit of live streaming. We're up for that. Happy solstice to all of you beautiful people. I already feel better.
Wow.
Mission
excellent.
accomplished. That is why we're here every
wonderful,
morning.
Yeah.
You know, we want to put the good in Good Morning Portugal.
Definitely.
Absolutely. If aught must be lost, 'twill be my honor for yours. If one must be foreskin. So no, if aught must be lost, 'twill be my honor for yours. If one must be forsaken, I beg your pardon, 'twill be my soul for yours. Should death come anon, 'twill be my life for yours. Is that someone stepping in and offering their own life in place of someone else's?
I think so.
Where is that Shakespeare there, Pete? Thank you for that. Same to you and yours, Andrew, as well. Lovely solstice greetings being shared here.
Do you know what? I
What?
think people are feeling the solstice more than they are the Christmas.
Very possibly.
Isn't that interesting?
And I imagine there might
Interesting
be
point of view, right?
There could be interns who are watching at Hallmark, thinking, going into the office later on. We've missed a trick here. We need to get happy solstice cards out quick.
Yeah,
Get them
and it needs to
online
be done,
this afternoon.
and it needs to be done on handmade paper.
Of course, or at least looks like it.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll get Chinese children to make it, I suppose, won't they?
Yes,
Knowing
absolutely.
the big corporations. But yes, Jimmy,
Yeah.
what is it? What do you want? What do you want, buddy? You want to wish me a happy solstice? Smelt any good poo lately? Yes, he has. Portuglish. No, that's why I don't let you lick my face. Portuglish. Now I have to hope for no blizzards on flight day and a negative COVID test. Are they still testing for COVID?
Where are you, Portuglish? Are you not?
No, this is for Jean.
Okay.
Jean's booking flights to
Oh,
come to Portugal. Still COVID testing on airplanes. Why? Okay, let's not get started on that. Have a bright solstice all from OLP. Last
Lovely.
comment you'll see from me. What? See you all in 2023. Happy holidays. Yes, and we will be talking to Owen again in the new year. And looking like a good one for you, Owen. You're not joining us for the party on Friday. Old gods can all embrace, but old cod, especially salted, takes more effort to welcome. What? A bacalhau joke there. Jean, do you have to take a COVID test to fly still?
do you know what?
That
When
is
I first,
so 2020.
do you know what? When
honestly.
I first saw that in the chat room, I
Yeah.
was imagining like someone flying, like not getting
Running
almost-
along the ground
yeah.
and leaping. And you have
Yes,
to have a COVID
exactly.
test. You have to have a sanity test.
I
for
felt like
that.
I'd come into an altered reality there.
You certainly have, but not in that sense. Owen, see you in 2023. Happy Christmas, mate. Loving seeing the exchanges of greetings here. Please carry on with that. I've secretly converted to Norse paganism. Shush. I'm trying to keep it low key. Loki. That is a
Oh.
very well crafted, Gerard-shaped box
Mm.
crafted Norse paganism joke.
Very clever.
Very good, very good. And rabbits and mushrooms and sunshine. I think we know what they're up to this afternoon. Stripping naked, taking a few of them special mushrooms and welcoming the sunshine in. Merry Christmas and happy winter solstice, everyone. Thank you so much, Penny. Happy solstice from Tom West. Yay, the best day of the year, you see.
Yeah.
Bring on 2023.
Yes,
so
definitely.
The new year has started in the West
We look
household.
forward to meeting you and your family when you come out.
I just presumed I'll need a COVID test. No, that would certainly be easier. I'm not sure you need to anymore. That's so 2021, Jean. I don't know. I don't know what they've dreamed up.
I guess it depends on which airport you're at and which country and whatnot.
Yes. If there was ever a time to wear your yogurt weaved hats, it's today. Yes.
Yogurt weaved hats.
Have I tidied those away as well?
Yeah, I think you have.
Yes, they were getting a bit smelly. You have to make fresh yogurt weaved hats. You can't use the old ones. Defo Mrs. M, solstice is the beginning of something new. Dougie's feeling it.
Who knew?
All
Who
of
knew
you
that everyone
pagans.
was like...
Check you out, you closet pagans. Jean, my friends just flew recently. No COVID test needed. That's good news, isn't it? Happy solstice, everyone. What was that? Boa solsticio or solstico? I wonder. Have we found out what it is in Portuguese? That's a bit remiss of us.
I don't know. But I know, I mean, the root of solstice means sun stands still.
Really?
Yeah.
Which sounds like an Ultravox song.
It does, doesn't it? It sounds like something from the 80s.
Ding, 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 ding. Or sun stand still, we all stand still. That's a very 80s thing, isn't it? We all stand still.
Well, you just did
Ultravox.
your 80s Sheffield
This
kind
is
of
Phil
voice.
talking.
Yeah, you did your Phil Oakley voice.
Everybody comes from Sheffield in the 80s, don't they? Human League, Heaven 17,
Yeah.
Cabaret Voltaire. Boas festas a todos. Do you know, one night I was stood next to Richard Kirky of Cabaret Voltaire,
Uh-huh.
a warehouse party, and the fella from The Fall, Marky Smith, stood next to both of them. Didn't know who Marky Smith was. And
I don't know that.
I suggested he cheer up. You don't say that to Mancunian Marky Smith. Look it up after. I think both of them are no longer with us, sadly, as well. Oregonians, wow, I just presumed tests would be required forever. You could be forgiven. You could be forgiven for thinking that. In Portugal, even atheists say, "Thank God I'm an atheist." Brilliant. That is so Portuguese, isn't it? And translation. Gracias a Dios son aito. Thank you very much for that, João F. And can we have solstice in Portuguese as well, please?
Yeah, that would be great.
If we have time to do that. So last words. I mean, we're 10:15 here, Mrs. M, but we've been caught on a vibe here, haven't we? Of solstice greetings,
of uplift, a vibe of
who
uplift.
doesn't like an uplift first thing in the morning?
Yeah.
So last words to you then on this solstice
Do you know what?
message.
I've seen photos from my friend in Norway
Yep.
where it's like dark,
Yeah.
and like somebody said, there are lights in the sky, which is beautiful. And then I've seen in my Facebook feed like friends of the show, in Canada and in Seattle, and they're covered in snow at the moment.
Beautiful.
And it's lovely. And then I've seen friends of the show in Australia in the height of summer. I just think wherever you are in the world right now, just absolutely enjoy and embrace the being of where you are. I think that's my life. That's just what I think is really special right now.
Fantastic.
It's just to like enjoy being where you are, and because like if the sun is standing still today, it's this moment just to enjoy the absolute now, because we're about to shoot forward fast.
Yes.
Or fast forward. So.
This is so good. Fantastic that you're booking those flights, OLP. I'm going to finish today, and I'm going to anoint everyone with a power animal dedication.
Of course you are.
The hummingbird.
Oh.
The hummingbird greeting, courtesy of Suze, who has been blessed with a lot of snow in Vancouver, and I'm now going to.
Actually, it wasn't Suze that I was referring to.
Another one.
Yeah.
Another one. That's amazing, isn't it? So let's go to the Advent calendar. Look at all of these. Let me just name check these wonderful people on the Advent calendar. Not too late. We've still got 4 spaces to fill. You started off.
Yes, if you're musical or artistic or up for a bit of improv, we'd love to see what you can do.
Yeah, and
on the Advent calendar.
What's on top of your tree? Prosecco Peggy was there. Anna, who we spoke to earlier on in Stockholm. Doug's been in here. John Rooney, Bill and Marcus, Deagle, Coach Turner. Nancy and Kari, that was really good as well in Caldesterenia. By Randy, Annika, Carlos in North Dakota, Dougie for a second time. He had 2 bites of that cherry. Victoria in Luxembourg when she was over that way a couple of days ago. Veronica, our friend American in Portugal.
I'm hoping to go live with her next week, actually.
Are you?
On Thursday night.
That'll be so much fun.
Because where I've been doing the interviews with people about their moving stories.
Yeah.
I don't want. I just can't be bothered putting one, like post-producing one next week, because like next week is we want to have a bit of a break, don't we? And Victoria and I've been talking about having a good old chinwag about her moving stories.
Yeah.
And I just thought it'd be much easier, but much more fun for us to do it as a live stream.
Talk to Rani.
Yeah, because she's used to live streaming as
hoot.
well. She's a hoot and a half. And then, if you want to actually ask her questions about her moving story, then,
yes, do it live.
We can do it live.
Oh, my God.
So the moment I've got the confirmation of that, we'll advertise it so that if you do want to join us, we're probably going to have a drink while we're doing it as well. So who knows where it's going to go.
Oh, dear.
I'm hoping it'll be next Thursday, the 28th or 29th.
29th, I think.
Whatever Thursdays.
Yeah,
29th from 7:30.
Well, I never.
Hopefully.
Oh, so we're
Fingers
not
crossed.
working, but Mrs. M is. We're going to be sneaking a few videos out during that
If we
week
can,
as well.
yeah.
Filomena was on Pampalhoja de Serra with some lovely video on the 18th of this month. And the day before yesterday, this is Suze, and this is the power animal. I hope the sound comes out for this, because my piano playing yesterday was spoiled by a failing of the technology. Here we have Suze, and lots of love to you, Suze and Taxi in Vancouver, and Your Snow and the Hummingbird, which we'll appropriate as the animal totem of this solstice.
Do you want to look it up?
Maybe you do.
Give me a sec.
Jimmy Chu is here. He wants to know as well. But I'm going to play it for you now. I'm a very happy Christmas.
We got one back. You see, it's -5, so this thing had frozen solid overnight. So I let it thaw on its own, and they just keep on coming. Aren't they cute? Merry Christmas.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, GuMPers.